How y'all doing? Bullshit! How are you doing? All right, still morning. Awesome. So what we're going to try to do now, they brought me up to give you the whole thing, the whole shebang, give you the biggest overarching picture of what Love Systems is all about. And then everybody else is going to come and give you like badass insights. You're going to see some crazy stuff and have a great time, I hope. So, good stuff. So let's start right off with the model. The thing that I really like about the Triad model is that it takes away a lot of the, the what the fuck just happened problem. Who's talked to a girl and go, what was that? Right? Only 4 people. Amazing. Everybody else, this is refresher. Good times. So the thing about it is, the greatest thing that I got from my Love Systems bootcamp was the ability to go, okay, here's what happened. Here's where I screwed up. Here's what I can do differently next time. And that's the real utility of what this thing is, this core of everything we teach, is that over time, the quicker you memorize this, the quicker that you're going to have the ability to look at what happened, diagnose it, find out your patterns, zero in on them, adjust your behavior accordingly, and move forward with greater success. The other thing that I think that you will get out of Love Systems and out of this weekend and out of your training and out of committing to this, like Savoy said, is a better understanding of your habits. By looking at yourself through the lens of the Triad model, you will have a better understanding of how you behave over a consistent period of time. And by zeroing in on that, you can then interrupt your old habits and begin new ones. And the Triad model is this really powerful diagnostic tool that you can use as a jumping off point, right? When I teach my 3-day seminar, I tell my students that there's very little I want them to memorize, because you're going to come out of today just crammed, just stuffed full of information. A lot of, who's taken a program before, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Where you have this, you just have this brain drain where at the end of the day, you don't know which way is up. You have no clue. So the cool part about this is that the quicker you get it, the quicker it becomes instinct. The quicker you go, okay, all right, I didn't qualifier, and all right, I should have started building rapport. Oh, I didn't have attraction, that kind of thing. And while we're talking about the idea of having as much as limited information as possible crammed into your head, the Triad model is the basis for just as much simplicity as we can possibly muster. We want to have something where we can just go, okay, basic, what do I do next? And here it is. This should be the slide with, here we go. All right. Who's seen it? This should be familiar to everybody. All right. Now, this is one of I have sort of 3 overarching models that I consider for game. This is the most technical and the most sort of this is the one that's going to give you zero in, and where my illustrious boss was talking about the science of it. This is one of the most handy tools. All right. So you have the emotional progression model, you have the logistical progression model, and you have the physical progression model. Now, nail that in your brain as soon as possible, because that is the key to all this stuff. It doesn't matter whether you're famous, it doesn't matter whether you're super powerful, it doesn't matter whether you are super rich, it doesn't matter everybody plays the same model. That's why this is so cool. That's why Love Systems is the shit, because this works no matter who you are. It's just a matter of what are you bringing to the table, that your logistics are set up for you, that you already have attraction, that a girl already receives your compliments gladly. I thought about this after this thing was already in the laptop. I wanted to present 2 other ideas as models of game, all right, while we're thinking about it, okay? The first is game is also psychology, a skill, and lifestyle. Now, Mr. M is going to be talking about lifestyle on Sunday, but what you're going to learn a lot of over the course of today and tomorrow and the next Sunday is a lot of skills. You're going to learn a lot of techniques. You guys sitting down, you're going to be sitting. You've probably already exchanged a bunch of routines and a bunch of lines, and you might hear the instructor say cool shit. That's very powerful and it's very important. That's the skill of pickup. That's the skill of seduction. But one of the things that you will see with all the instructors is, and you probably already noticed, is our bearing. You'll notice how we carry ourselves. You'll notice the energy that we come out with. And that is a factor of psychology, some of which, in some of our cases, is very hard won. But it is the idea that we are capable of doing this. The very last point that Savoy had up there. What do you believe you are capable of doing? What do you believe, what is holding you back? And how are you putting things in a context of positivity or negativity? And I have another hour talking about the importance of psychology in this. If you don't work on all three of those, then you are going to find yourself in a lopsided situation. And the other of my three overarching models is, again, I want simplicity. I want the most basic way you can look at game. I want something where you can go out and go, okay, I've got all this stuff. I can't remember all these routines. What do I do? All right. If you commit to having fun, don't let any external thing impact your ability to have fun. If you make enjoying yourself your fucking mission in life when you go out, and you escalate, logistically and physically, you escalate. So approach, have fun, and escalate. Your sex life, your romantic life, and your love life will improve exponentially, dramatically, hugely. Did I come up with that, or did you, Bonsai? I can't ever. It was you? All right, I'll give you credit. It's good. It's good stuff. I don't care. I care about results. Whoever comes up with it, whatever. All right. So those are the three things. Now, when it comes to really zeroing in on your game, right? Because I can say approach and have all this stuff, and that's the thing is that's going back to the psychology thing. That is where you will end up. You must end up at that last thing, but this is the tool that will see you through every gradation of your game is the Triad model, and it's the foundation of everything we teach here. So you want to. Yeah, we'll keep going forward with that. There you go. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the physical progression model. The physical progression model is, it's an interesting thing to teach because I like to think of this as the model that gives the most to reality. Because I can tell you what social, friendly, romantic, and sexual touching are, kind of, right? Social touching, let's say social touching is what you can do with a stranger. Social touching, which is kind of the upper echelon of social touching, is the upper echelon of what you can get away with at work. Social touching is what you could probably get away with, say, a certain amount of social touching with your boss. Okay? Good enough. Friendly touching. Well, you probably can't wrap your arm around your boss like a headlock. It's friendly touching. Okay? At some point, dancing is friendly touching, but there's definitely dancing that becomes romantic touching, right? If I put my arm around one of you, right, one of my former students in here, I'm like, hey, what's up, buddy? That's friendly touching, right? If I leave it there, it's not. Okay? And then let's just say blanket, sexual touching is anything after, let's go for anything after kissing. We'll call that sexual touching. Now, the reason I'm being so abstruse in talking about this is because the point of the physical progression model is that there is a distance between holding a girl's hand and putting your penis in her mouth. There's something that happens between those two things, right? Okay, that's the point. Because we say to guys, you need to touch early, and you need to touch often. We say this, touch early, touch often, touch everyone, and touch first, all this good stuff. I'm sure people are going to hammer these things. We're going to talk about it in the breakout room. But then we get guys, and they come up, and they're like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Yeah, I know, you're cool. Yeah, whatever. I don't like you. I do like you. I don't like, they play, like they're doing, the words are solid, right? And they don't escalate at all. They don't test for any more compliance. They don't test to see if they can get away with anything more. And so the point of the physical progression model is that you want to see what you can get away with. You want to see how far you can go. Now, I don't want you to go too far with this, by the way. With one caveat, I'm gonna kind of contradict myself here, which is sexual tension is really important. I'm a pretty big believer that making out in a club is a bad idea. You definitely don't want to actually molest a girl in the club. It's fun. It's very fun. And if you're going to do it, Vegas is the place to do it. And moreover, while you're learning, I want you to test boundaries like crazy. I want you to be the creepy, touchy guy. I want you to be like, get thrown out of places for being horrible. Don't. Listen. I don't want all of you to, like, I kind of do. Like, I kind of want stories. But what I'm trying to impart to you is not to get thrown out of every venue at Super Conference. It's that if you have trouble touching, if you have trouble testing boundaries, if you have trouble doing some of the things that you're going to see instructors doing, and some of the things you see your friends getting away with, that's the point, is that you can get away with so much. And if you stop at the most basic levels of touching, that's where you fall short. Because what it says to the girl is, you don't have the confidence, the strength, the will, the experience, the expectation of doing well that says, I can keep going with my touch. So that's the point of the physical progression model. All right. Move forward. Okay. Logistical progression model. You can see I'm an artist, right? This is my beautiful piece here. I've modified the logistical progression model slightly, ever so slightly. So if you see it in any textbook form, I have this one little thing. So there are two things you want to worry about with the logistical progression model. The first is the left-hand side, which is about where you are in relation to a place where you can reasonably have sex. And the right-hand side is the situation with their friends. Is she with them? And then my middle part is, do they like you? Do they like you? We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then there's isolation and home. One of my favorite here you go. One of my favorite quotes about logistics came from Big Business. I'm more brute force. Listen, no matter how good you get, the tie that will bind you together with all people who have ever tried to get good at this will be logistics. I have been yelled at. I have been dressed down by Thai police while pulling a girl. Sometimes shit gets in the way. She loses her phone. She's the designated driver. She can't let her friend go. She's got epilepsy. Something happens, right? The point is, logistics are this weird thing where if you listen to instructors tell stories, 90% of our problems come in logistics. If you open a girl and it's like amazing, she looks at you, oh my God, you're fucking hot. You go, damn right I am, and I got a big dick too, right? And then her friend swoops down like Batman in 2.5 minutes. Guess what? That's not your fault, dude. That's just logistics. It happens. So logistics, don't ever let anything excuse you from approaching and doing better and doing a diagnosis, but also let yourself off the hook if logistics are the bitch, okay? So those are the two sides of it. On the left-hand side, the part about your physical location, what you really want to focus on is movement. I want that to be something you drill in your heads, you ram through your brains. Movement is this enormous, essential part of game. I physically cannot stress it enough. It is one of the ultimate tools to find out if a girl trusts you. It is one of the ultimate tools to find out if a girl likes you. It is a tool to measure compliance that is not as socially dangerous and explosive in front of her friends as actually progressing up the physical progression model. It is essential. Who here, students in Las Vegas, would like to take a girl home the same night that you meet her? Please raise your hand. That is so strange. Better question. Who doesn't? Okay, I was going to say, it's like, I have a couple of those guys, and I'm like, what? Why? Are you gay? So if you want to do that, you want to move. It's a mystical thing. There are certain things we do with love systems that almost have a mystical quality. And by taking a girl from one location to the next, 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 it's like, there are a lot of psychological explanations for it. Like you're taking her on an instant date. We talk about time compression, the idea that she thinks she spent more time with you because she has more snapshots in her brain. I don't know. I don't know if any of that's true. All I know is that if you can get her to comply with that repeatedly, then she gets used to saying yes to you, and that moves the entire interaction forward. And what I would like to impart to you is that the importance of movement is, I'm going to talk about this a little later with transitioning, but with movement, guys want to move because it's time, right? Guys want to move, they're like, well, the bar's closing, therefore we move. That makes perfect sense. Like, oh, well, the bouncer is moving. Yes, that's why we're moving. Fuck that noise, okay? That's what I'm trying to stress to you is you move because it's good for the set. You move to get laid, right? And what do I mean by movement? Okay, so here's the girl, right? She's lovely. And this is location A. So when I say movement, I mean location B over here, location C over here. I'm not going to run off the stage too many more times because we're filming this and I don't want to drive these people crazy. But like location D being over there. And then come back here. Say, hey, yeah, we were just over there. We're going to get married. Is that cool? Awesome. Okay. Location E, outside those doors. Location F, outside the building, smoking. Location G, you go to a pizza place. Location H, it's just you keep accruing. The first time, the miracle of this was the first time I had a same night pull was we just bounced around the same venue in like 92 different places, the whole time. And at the time I was like, I feel like I have ADHD. Like I feel like I'm on meth. I don't know what's going on. And then when it came time to be like, hey, well, actually, let's get the fuck out of here. She's like, okay. She's just used to saying yes to me. Good times. Yeah, start small. What you'll notice is that when you try to get a girl to move, a lot of times like right away, you've probably experienced this if you've taken a course, like where they go, no, I'm all set. I'm gonna stay with my friends. That's fine. You're not gonna try to like, well, let's get her on the other side of the planet right away. Sometimes that's not gonna work, right? They're not just gonna break away from their friends right away. So 5 feet, that's fine. The main point is we want to get her into isolation. There you go. So that brings us to the right-hand side of the logistical regression model. If you see a beautiful woman alone in Vegas, she is working. And I don't mean as a promoter. Okay? It is just a fact of reality. The women that you desire, the reason that you plunk down the cash to be up in this bitch, are going to be in groups. So, that means you have to contend with groups. Now, as I have gotten better, as the years have passed and I have ascended, I've apotheosized, really. As that has happened, I will talk to a girl sometimes, and her friends will come over and go, we're going to go to the bathroom. And then she goes, no, fuck off and die. I like him better. It happens, don't rely on it, okay? So that's why you have that the second layer, the second part of that triangle is, do they like you? You will have to do all kinds of ninja stuff. I'm not gonna talk about group theory unless I run out of fucking time. I need to fill more time. But in general, it's just that if you get screwed over by the friends, it's because they don't trust you, they don't know you, they don't like you. You haven't gotten in good with them. How good do you need to get with them? Not really that good, right? Usually, I usually consider it really happy when a girl goes, oh my God, I fucking love this guy. I'm like, awesome, okay, this is good. I can work with this. That's a good sign, but you can't always expect fireworks. So what you want is getting good enough and then get into isolation. Because what I see a lot of times with guys is because they recognize that girls start in a group, some guys become, who here is really good with the group? There's got to be somebody, if you've taken the course, who's like good with like dominating the group, right? Now, a lot of times, do you find it tough to isolate? You don't pick a target, right? You're really entertaining, you're really interesting, they like you, and then nothing happens, right? That's because you're focusing more on being interesting to the group. You're focusing more on entertaining the whole body there, instead of going, okay, you like me, you like me, you like me, and I have a purpose. And you move to your target. That's another thing. One of the parts that we get written up about in weird ways is this idea of a target. You have to pick a target. Pick a target. Know who you're going to be aiming at. Know who you're going to be dealing with, because you want to ingratiate yourself to the group, but eventually you want to break away, because everything meaningful that we do in love systems happens in isolation. Everything happens in isolation. Your whole goal is to get into isolation. My personal favorite thing that ever happens is when amazing Thompson, future, I'm working on a boot camp, and I do all this great winging because I'm a ninja, and I pull the guy away. I pull this warthog away from her beautiful friend, right? And who's there? Students. It's like, oh my God, the most beautiful woman I've ever spoken to. This is amazing. This is fantastic. This is the best night of my life. I'm gonna go see what Thompson's doing. No. The whole point is isolation. You want to get them in isolation. Once you're in isolation, you only go back to the group if there's that, you'll get social intuition, but there's a point where the energy changes and they might need to be reintroduced so that they get that sort of, okay, my friends are not being murdered kind of thing, and then get them the fuck away again. Everything you want to do happens in isolation. We're going to talk a little bit about qualification. You can't do extreme qualification in a group. You can't be like, tell me your hopes and dreams. Tell me, like, what's something, like, every guy should know, within 5 minutes of meeting you that they don't know right away. Fuck off. How do you know her? Why are you talking to her like that? You don't know her. Like, the friends are not going to be helpful in this case, all right? So everything meaningful happens in isolation. There we go. Hey, baby. How you doing? All right. Emotional progression model. It is a fact of life, fact of love systems, that the way that people tend to learn is in the reverse order of what I am talking about. People tend to do a lot of work on the emotional progression model because it has a lot more to do with what you are saying. It has a lot more to do with the words that are coming out of your mouth. And then as you get better at talking, you realize that you're not getting laid. You go, oh, well, I need to figure out these other things, moving the girls around. I need to touch more. I need to learn how to molest comfortably. It starts off with approach, open, sometimes not necessary. Transition, you build attraction, get her to qualify herself and receive validation comfortably. Build comfort, seduce. Now, let's go for it. Come on. Purpose of opening. What is the purpose of opening? I don't know. Wait, somebody's saying, people are saying it. What is it? Just to open. Just fucking open. That's all the fucking point. It's the whole point of opening, right? It's just open. All right? Now, you're going to learn a lot about opening. Because who's freaked out about opening? Raise your hand. Who's freaked out? A little freaked out about opening. Nick, put your hand down. So the thing about opening is that it is the most important and the least important part. Okay? I have opened with, let's see, who lies more, guys or girls? I have opened with who wants to get pregnant. I have opened with hi. I have opened with I couldn't help but notice you from across the bar, and I just thought you were absolutely stunning. And if I didn't come talk to you, I was going to be kicking myself all night. So right now I'm hoping you have a great personality. What's your name? Or who wants to get pregnant? Whatever, right? Whatever, right? the point is that the purpose of opening is not to build status. The purpose of opening is not to make you look cool. It's not to catch your back-footed. It's not to do any of the kind of cool psychological legerdemain that we're going to learn so much of. The whole purpose of opening is to grab your sack, put one foot in front of the other, open your mouth, and not make the mistake of letting this girl out of your life for the rest of your life. Okay? That's the purpose of opening. I'm not done with opening. So another thing I want to talk about with opening, whatever else you learn about opening is entirely about follow-through. Opening is entirely about follow-through. The main, like, people, I'll do something your instructors might not. I'm gonna yell at you. If I hear you say, "What should I open with tonight?" I will cock punch you, okay? If I hear the words, "What should I open with?" you will be on the fucking ground and you will never have babies, okay? Here's why. Because you open, the point is, you grab your sack and you keep going. You don't let the conversation die. So you go in, you go up, "God damn, girl, you are sexy. You got to talk to me." A little forward, it's okay, right? A little much. But it can work, right? You say that, hey, shit, the point is, shit, what happens is guys go, right? What I see all the time, guys go up and they go, and, "Well, I did the hard part, woman. Well, let's hear what you have to say," one sentence into the conversation. And girls just stand there and go, "What do you got? You're not the first guy who's talked to me. Come on, let's go." And what most important part about opening is that you keep going. You have something to follow up with. And that's where we get to transitioning. So transitioning, as was made clear by my handy-dandy triangle earlier, transitioning is a stage. It is the second stage of the emotional progression model. It is the stage that we had to insert so that dumbasses like me would not have 95-minute conversations about who lies more, guys or girls. It turns out nobody gives a shit. So the other thing, though, is that transitioning is also a skill. Okay? Transitioning, I would hazard to say, is one of the most critical skills that you can learn in love systems. Transitioning is an incredibly powerful thing. Transitioning is changing the effing topic. You know who are really good at this? Girls. They are amazing at this. Girls just, if you try to have an awkward conversation with a girl, they'll be like, "Man, I love shoes," right? They will book it to a new conversation topic. I used to think my mom had ADD. It turned out she just didn't like negative conversations, right? And that's, what this is you have the right, you have the ability, you have the power to change the subject. And you must change the subject. And what probably separates the instructors from other people is that we have the ability to talk about anything for a truly absurd and sometimes painful amount of time, right? We can just change the subject to go, time to talk about lemons for no reason whatsoever. And that's actually, I'm going to be, later on, I've got in the breakout rooms, I have an exercise that I do specifically for that. If you've been in my class, you've already done it. But you want to get good at changing the subject. Why? To change the subject, to advance on the model. Where most of you, especially where my scientists at? Where are my engineers, my doctors, right. You guys especially, all right? You want the conversation to follow a pattern. You want to change the subject because it's time to change the subject. That's where the conversation is naturally going, right? That's called being a normal human being. You're using this thing called reason and logic, and that's where conversations go. No, right? What you are doing in love systems is changing the topic because, A, to show that you have other things to talk about, B, to get off of subjects that aren't working for you. A lot of times, girls, good example, bringing up a crappy ex-boyfriend. That's a conversation that can happen, especially if you get in any kind of rapport with a girl. Get the fuck off the topic, right? Here's a rule. I want you to write this down. You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. Here's another one. This is actually an addendum I got from the Advanced Boot Camp earlier this year. You don't have to answer any question you don't want to answer. You don't have to participate in any thread. And being able to cut the thread, being able to switch the topic on the fly, is a skill you need to actively work on, especially you super left brain guys. Like that is your Achilles heel. You want things to just go along a linear fashion, and it does not, it will not, it cannot. All right. All right. Good stuff. All right. Attraction is awesome. Attraction is this really interesting thing. Attraction and qualification just keep revealing more about themselves the more you study this. So you're going to learn a ton about attraction this weekend, because building attraction and effective ways of being desirable to women is like what people come here for. That's why you're here, because otherwise you'd be set. Okay? So I'm going to give like the most orbital level of attraction, because you're going to learn a shitload of stuff, especially in the breakout rooms and all this kind of stuff. The fundamental part of attraction is that you are showing her that you are a man. You are showing her that you are virile. You are showing her that you have power. I've had debates about this over time, like what is the essence of attraction? And for a while, some of you who've taken my course, you might have heard me say it's social dominance. It's not. Social dominance is a major, 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 huge up there part of attraction. But it's really about strength in all of its many forms. It is about being strong. Where this came out, I'm looking at you, Starlight, right? I was talking to somebody in San Francisco, and I was like, it's about dominance. He goes, you haven't hit on girls in San Francisco. It's not that they don't necessarily want that much dominance. They want strength. And I debated with him, but there's a point there, which is there is a time and a place. There is a type of girl who isn't necessarily going to get that right up front, like I want to caveman the shit out of you kind of response. Depending on where you are, different parts of the world, but in all cases, confidence and strength, manifestations of leadership, of power. These are the buzzwords. And if in your own life you refer to yourself in terms of weakness, if you use effete terms to describe yourself in your own mind, that is part of your psychological stumbling block. I know no one's going to believe me. I used to consider myself an introvert. Right? I used to use the word shy to describe myself. And it turns out I'm not that shy. It turns out I had shy habits. Turns out I had a series of shy behaviors stacked up on top of each other. And by basically through desperation, through loneliness and desperation, and sort of being like, I'm tired of masturbating. Once I hit that critical mass, I said, I'm going to do whatever somebody on the internet tells me to do. The thing is that it's whatever you do, any of that internal dialogue is about, you might have to rewire that. Some of you have to do I had to do some serious rewiring, and it had to do with the fact that the language that I used to describe myself was in many cases almost feminine. Right? I read my old letters. I read my letters home from Marine Corps boot camp, and I'm just like, this guy's a queer, right? And that's the thing. It's Marine Corps boot camp. Externally, I was a tough motherfucker, but internally, I was thinking these thoughts that have been sort of paved over with really the artifacts, post-second wave feminism kind of stuff that a lot of you, whether you like it or not, have been indoctrinated into. And so what women always say when, they'll say post-coital, or they'll say like when they realize how attracted they are, they're like, why can't more guys be fucking men? Why can't guys be stronger? I've had girls say to me, why are men such pussies? Right? Here you go. Whatever else you think about attraction, the basis of it is that real hardcore attraction comes from your ability to conform to how she perceives you as a reflection of masculinity. It's going to be different for every girl, but not that different. Okay? I will say that I will also put down, there's one more thing that I want you to memorize as soon as possible. I reprimanded one of my former students earlier because he did not do this. There are 5 things that I consider essential attraction switches. Now, they're my personal pets, and I don't think I'll debate them with people, but like some of the other instructors might have some ideas. But these are the things to me that are the best lenses for conversation. They're the best lenses for like actual tactical on the ground interacting. One is the idea that you are pre-selected. This is in my mind. This is my absolute pet. Everything comes back to pre-selection. Everything comes back to whether or not you are perceived by a woman as somebody that other women desire. It's huge. It's huge. For instance, I sat in on Braddock's Social Circle Mastery, and he said that the main attraction switch in Social Circle is buzz. And I would say that buzz from women is better. Having women say he's really sexy and hot, maybe more so than the guys. But we could have a debate. But the point is pre-selection is huge. The other, I've already kind of talked about it, leadership. Setting the plan, setting the path, determining the way, making statements instead of asking questions. You are somebody that people defer to. You are the person who's when you relate your stories, you don't waffle back and forth. You are decisive. You are a protector. This goes back to some primal shit. This is why strength is so important, because they are smaller and weaker, fundamentally. Not really, not in 2010. They fun fact, guess what? More of them in the workplace, more women in the workplace, and they make more money now. Good times. But their biology doesn't pay attention to that, right? The idea that you are capable of protecting is essential to getting an attracted response. As well, non-reactivity. Again, going back to strength, you are not affected. You do not get rattled. You don't get rattled positively or negatively. This idea of a strong silent type, there's real power in that. But I am not a strong silent type. I am a strong loud type. And the key is that I don't react overly to when women try to push my buttons. And the last one is a willingness to walk away. Willingness to walk away. Who's a nice guy? Where are my nice guys at? Bullshit, you liars. Too nice to raise your hands. Bullshit. All right. Willingness to walk away is one of the main things where guys fuck up attraction. By far. Big time. It's not that hard. You tease. You actually physically walk away. You turn your back. You are not needy. Neediness is kryptonite to attraction, and it is the antithesis of a willingness to walk away. Good times. You're going to learn so much about that this weekend. All right, qualification. If you were here last year, you heard my talk on qualification. Qualification is awesome. It is profound. It is amazing. Fundamentally, it is about... There are two main parts of qualification. The first is you are soliciting a reason from her that you can like her for something other than her looks. It is when you show a girl you like her for something other than her looks. So there are two components to qualification. Okay? The first is she has to brag. She has to try to impress you. She has to submit to a screening question. She has to show off. She has to show some sign that she regards you as somebody she has to impress. She behaves in a way that says, oh, I want to show off for this guy. The other part is you provide validation. Women need compliments. So how many compliments do women need? Depends on the girl. I'm seeing a girl right now who she has her threshold is like here. And then I'm seeing another girl. She just coos and awes and just loves every time that I say some praiseworthy thing about her, and both of them got to earn it, right? So that's the thing. The cool thing about qualification is it never ends, ever. Qualification never, ever ends. It ends when one of you is dead, right? One of you will be in the ground before qualification ends, because you never, as a person, the reason why you start taking each other for granted is because you stop demanding reasons for validation. And healthy relationships are about both parties, or all parties, rising to the occasion to earn the validation, to earn the payment of validation and compliments and good feelings. And you're going to fuck it up, so that's good. Qualification is beyond a doubt. It's the stage where guys screw up. Guys have two flip sides, right? You've got guys who are either not willing to walk away, they're too needy, they're too nice, they never show any edge, they never give girls a hard time, they never bust girls' chops, they never walk away. You got the other side, where guys never say they like a girl, they never tell a girl how hot she is, they never say that she's sexy as fuck and you want to do dirty, dirty things to her. They never say this stuff, and so the girl never has any kind of validation. She has no idea that you actually like her. And if you don't learn to balance those, and then as you get more advanced, you have to be able to do it even more on the fly, because again, you have two extremes. Then you'll lose lots and lots of girls. Love qualification. All right, that's where I live. All right. Comfort is awesome. I like comfort because of the whole thing that Savoy started out with, this idea of being yourself. You want to be yourself, you got to wait for comfort, right? So I'm going to give you two definitions of comfort to start off with, okay? First, comfort is the absence of discomfort. And this is by far, for love systems, this is the most important definition of comfort. Because the other one, this next one, it's important, it's good stuff. But comfort, what we're really talking about with this first definition is fighting the notion that you need 3 dates, and then you buy your flowers, dinner and a movie, all this kind of crap, right? That's not where you live. Comfort is just enough, it's just enough rapport, it's just enough trust, she's moving, the conversation's fluid, she's not recoiling from your touch, and you progress, and you have sex. This is the most important one. Now, the stuff, the moneymaker, the real bonding shit, that's the second one. It's the ability to experience a wide range of emotions without awkwardness. And that's great. That's really good stuff. But when you're talking about just how to get good at this, how to streamline your game, the most important aspect is that it's not making her uncomfortable. So I'm going to come back to attraction a little bit. The 3 pieces of kryptonite in game are neediness, awkwardness, and boredom. Those 3 things, when those things happen, shit dies. So the main point of comfort is to continue this stream of interaction going along. You're physically progressing. You are navigating various logistical obstacles, both physically and with her friends. You are building attraction, maintaining attraction, getting her to qualify herself, providing meaningful validation. But the key is she never experiences awkwardness. If you can do that, then she will be comfortable enough to have the sex with you. How much do you need? That much. You need exactly as much as that girl specifically requires. I'm going to go back a little bit. So here's the other fun feature about seduction. I love the Triad model. I think it's really, really cool. And I'm going to steal from you again, Savoy. One of the things that he pointed out is the Triad model is just a model. Okay? It is the best, most useful, most powerful way of presenting the vagaries of human interaction and seduction that we have. And the reason why I work for this company is because I really believe in what we teach. But it's still a model. So over and over again, students have come up to me and they go, I wanted it to be linear. It's not linear. It's like mud wrestling, right? Once you get to comfort especially, but the more that you go through the model, the less linear it becomes, and the more it becomes circular, the more it kind of folds in on itself. So you have to have attraction if a girl will qualify, in order to get a girl to qualify herself to you, if a girl won't qualify herself to you, she doesn't like you enough. She's not attracted enough. You have to get a girl to qualify herself before she's going to be able to build a lot of comfort with you. But the thing is, while you are building comfort, you are still promoting yourself as a protector and as a leader, and as, you're still dropping pre-selection bombs, and you're still getting her to qualify herself. And so it becomes this linear thing, and you're also still hitting on her. You have to continue to progress up the physical model. So it goes from being this straight up triangle with linear steps, and it becomes this sort of circular thing. Okay? I'm not going to steal anybody else's model, but that's really important, because I know that a big flaw in my game was I just stopped doing attraction at all when I got into comfort. I was like, nope, it's fine. This bitch doesn't need to be teased, right? Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Right? Yeah, because if you don't do for instance, if you don't do willingness to walk away, especially when you get into comfort, especially you start validating a girl in qualification, neediness. You seem clingy. You seem needy. They need you to add that distance so that you don't seem like every other guy who's chasing after them, which means that attraction never ends. They need validation. They need some sign that you're interested, which means qualification never ends. You need them to show it. Qualification never ends. They need to feel like you're there, you're with them, you have rapport. Comfort never ends. And that's all my time. Enjoy the rest of your seminar, gentlemen.